Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Wednesday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, Landless People's Movement leader Bernardus Swartboy has condemned President Hage Geingob over comments he made recently that apartheid was a far bigger tragedy than the 1904-1908 Nama of Ahero genocide, describing the president's comments as an insult. Ohanet Lache reports. Now moving on, the Quemanen Traditional Authority marched to the Old State House on Tuesday morning to deliver a petition for land for the attention of the Vice President Nangolo Mbumba. Earlier this year, when Gauss Julian Hawa Nas discussed the plight of the original inhabitants of Windhoek with President Hage Geingob, the Traditional Authority has no land in the Khomas region to call its own. Joro Asep read the statement and Walter Hassab elaborated on the plight of the Quemanen people before the minister in the presidency. Christine Hobbes received the petition on behalf of the Vice President. Gawas Gawa Nas spoke to the media at her house in Dolam Katutura, afterwards elaborating on the misery of having no place to call their own 33 years after independence and in the place where she and her forefathers were born. Ogeda Greg reports.
No protest. We came peaceful to you to hand over just a petition, and so that we can maybe be heard this time around. The municipality for dire birds evict people out of their houses, and those are coming in. And we take that people and we place them at Grootout. Municipality had now already flexed its wings up to Grootout, and they are starting with their services, water and electricity, and the land and whatever have you will be paid, land taxes and so on. And if they can't pay, where will we take them? That is, it become a grave concern.
We are doing this after we have exhausted all the processes and procedures that are there in terms of the government. The way we have been treated as a Quemanen Traditional Authority are leaving us nothing more to come to an assumption where the Namibian government is having a systematic discrimination against our Quemanen people. If you go to Newcomb Agricultural College, where our graves are, there is a padlock and there is a lawsuit against the Quemanen traditional community. Lawsuit that is saying we must not or we cannot visit the graves of our people. Our houses are being break down by the Namibian government on the road. If we are going to Dorgabes, our people currently are in a concentration camp.
His Excellency the President, as well as the Vice President, is well aware of the plight of the Quemanen people. Gauss governors came to see the President, and the President has given instructions, not only to the Vice President, that the issues that the Quemanen Gauss has raised should be attended to.
Welcome. This Windhoek, as such, is the land of the Quemanen. The deliberations of the Quemanen, it did not start yesterday or now. It is an ongoing and oncoming issue. 33 years down the line and in your own country, in your own habitat and jurisdiction, if you do not have land, it's a very worrisome fact.
Teachers at Onamatango Primary School in Sandi District of Musate region currently live in corrugated iron shacks which they have built themselves, making their homes prone to bad weather conditions. The one-bedroom houses are used for 3 functions: sleeping rooms, kitchen, and bathrooms. As the school has no shower facilities, the teachers do not have a kitchen and use one made out of wooden sticks to cook for the school feeding program to prepare their meals. On this day, the 19th of September 2023, there is no cooking happening for the school feeding scheme. The school has run out of clean water and needs to place an order with the Education Regional Officer for their tanks to be refilled. This can take up to 2 weeks before they receive their supply. For 8 years and counting, teachers and school principal Johannes Shanika reported the struggles educators have been facing living in the shacks due to lack of proper accommodation at the school, but to no avail. They do not have proper toilet facilities at the school, so when nature calls, they resort to the bushes. Committed to the teachers' cause, these teachers are resilient, committed to educating the Namibian child. They share their worries with the Namibian Sun. Now moving on, a 24-year-old transgender woman, Danielle Ashanti Koos, says she wants the City of Windhoek employees to issue a public apology after they hurled derogatory insults at her last Thursday in Katutura. According to Ashanti, this treatment has gotten worse over the past 3 years after a video of her being tied up and assaulted by Frans Miguel Hokasep went viral in 2020 when he appeared in court in Gobabis last month, and the case was postponed to November. Elizabeth Kiebes reports.
Good day, dear Namibians. My name is Ashanti Koos. I'm a transgender woman, which is 24 years old. I was assaulted in 2020, 24th of March, in Gobabis settlement by a man called Frans Miguel, and this caused trauma and stigma and discrimination in community, that each and everyone is insulting me and assaulting me throughout this process that happens with me in 2020 at Gobabis. So the reason why I came here today is just because of the trauma and stigmatizement that always happened in the community, that people are insulting me and putting words on me, and it's also working with my mental health, and it's also letting me feel bad and letting me also feel that I am left out in Namibia, because each and everyone, even a small kid, is insulting me in streets. So this is the reason that I came today to the newspaper. It's just because I was assaulted and insulted by the employees of City of Windhoek. And I reported this case to the management of City of Windhoek, but there was nothing done. So I decided to go to newspapers and go seek for help, because I'm also Namibian, and I will allow another Namibian to come and stigmatize me and discriminate me and to take down my dignity that I have as a human being. So what I would like to say is to my Namibians, I am a human being as you guys, and we all know our fundamental human rights as we are sitting and as we are a human being. So City of Windhoek, for them to do a public, how can I say, they need to give a public apology to me personally and say, we are sorry what has been happened on last week, Thursday, at Puma Service in Katutura Central Shops. So, if that could not happen, if City of Windhoek could not stand up and give public apology to me in newspapers, then I will go take further steps to come out and to sue City of Windhoek, because they didn't discipline their clients and they didn't discipline their employees, especially the employees. They didn't discipline the employees. They didn't give counseling skills to their employees, how to treat customers in the community, in the public services.
In our Story of the Day segment, the 7th National ICT Summit was officially launched earlier today. We tackle this story on the other side of the break.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 115.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Getting into our story of the day, Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Peya Moshelenga, opens the 7th National ICT Summit in Windhoek with the theme Rethinking Cybersecurity Investment to Secure the Digital Economy and Its Opportunities. Katharina Moser reports.
All ICT sectors players and stakeholders who have pledged their generous sponsorship in various categories for the upcoming summit. Your commitment and support demonstrate our collective dedication to advancing the ICT sector in Namibia and seizing the opportunities it presents. The theme for this year's ICT Summit, Rethinking Cybersecurity Investment to Secure the Digital Economy and Its Opportunities, could not be more timely and relevant. The digital economy holds tremendous promise for economic growth, innovation, and social development. However, it also exposes us to new risks and vulnerabilities that must be effectively managed. Namibia has joined the global community in embracing the digital age.
Moving on, the city of Windhoek has cut local business owners' water and electricity. We expand on this story after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Now, 39-year-old Philadelphia Oliphant is a local business owner who had her water and electricity cut by the city of Windhoek 4 months ago due to unpaid debts. According to Oliphant, she approached the city of Windhoek with $5,000 million to pay for the debt, but they turned her away, demanding a further $5,000 million. Oliphant ran a takeaway shop in Katutura and has since needed to sell her equipment to make ends meet. Elizabeth Kiepes reports.
I feel my electricity should be not only mine, but each and every person. The most important thing, without electricity, we cannot do anything. And most of our appliances that we are using, it's actually needs electricity. So we need electricity for that reason. And apart from that, we also need to, for our own selves, we have to eat, we have to stay in the light. We have kids that are going to school that have to read at night and do their homeworks and stuff. But they can't do that because it's dark at night. And some of us don't have any other income because there's no unemployment. Unemployment is so high in Namibia that we just have to find sources of getting an income from them. My business is closed because my water has been closed, my electricity has been closed. So how will I even put a tenant in order to get any money out of it? I can't, you understand? So it has affected me both, I don't know, should I say mentally, physically and spiritually, because it also caused depression because my mindset has always been on where will I get this, where will I get that, how will I do this and how will I do that, you understand? It also puts us in a situation whereby we end up coming up with solutions that are not actually not solutions. We come and do things that we're not supposed to be doing. So this has affected us very bad.
And how long has your electricity and water been off?
It's been 4 months now. And before that, even I also had a problem with municipality where they demand and they even put, how do I put it, pressure on you. You come there, tell them you only have a certain amount, but then they will decide what amount you should put down. Where will you get that from? That's the question we basically ask them. Where do you expect me to get that money from? We end up going to loans, whereby they also require certain things that we have to. We sometimes, if you go in here, you see, I've even right now, can you bring the receipt for the Gretel? I even went to cash converters. What did I do? I had to go and put my cradle, because it's something I'm using for my business, but I had to go put it as a loan, as a collateral, just to get some money. Now, just think, they give me less than what I'm supposed to give back. Now I have to give back with interest, and now I have to hustle to get that interest back. Do you understand? So my cradle cost more than what it was. But now I'm also going to lose it, because still I can't. Because the little I got, I went to put it back. I went to give it to them. But still, they will not even consider to say, okay, at least you've brought this, let us help you with this. No, they don't. They have no consideration whatsoever. They have no consideration. They don't even consider people. When you get there, it's like you are nothing to them. And the other thing is they don't warn. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to bring NHE into this matter, but NHE has a thing of warning a client before they come to your house to come and tell you have to vacate or whatever happens. They bring you a letter. Municipality does not warn. You'll just end up coming home, going to buy electricity, then you just see meter is blocked. Do you understand? They don't even give you hands up. If you even go and explain your situation, the way they sit, they are too comfortable.
You have a pensioner letter there?
No, this is actually my things that I've taken to the cash converters in order for me to just get a certain amount in order to go put down at municipality or to buy food to eat. We have to put our things, we have to take our things in. You understand?
Now, in our economic news, will SARB keep interest rates on hold or hike? Do stay tuned for this story after the break.
To another exciting episode of Ironwood Talk. Jou lees die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik kan byt.
Now, whether the repo rate differential between Namibia and South Africa will widen or remain unchanged at 50 basis points is set to be determined tomorrow. Year to date, the South African Reserve Bank hiked the repo rate by 125 basis points. At the fourth monetary policy announcement in July, the South African Central Bank kept the repo rate unchanged at 8.25%. Similarly, the Bank of Namibia at the fourth monetary policy announcement decided to keep the repo rate unchanged at 7.75%. Year to date, the Namibian Central Bank hiked the repo rate by 100 basis points. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.14, against the euro at 20.04, against the US dollar at 18.68. 2 Namibian dollars and 56 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. Now on the commodities market, copper, Brent crude oil and platinum went down, with gold going up. Brent crude oil trading at 0.33%, going for $93.82 per barrel. In international news, UK Interior Minister says that they won't save the planet by bankrupting British people. We get into this story shortly. Britain's Interior Minister said earlier today that the country needed to take a pragmatic approach to reaching net zero because it could not save the planet by bankrupting the British people. The comment by Sola Braverman comes ahead of a speech by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak this week, where he is expected to delay some of the government policies which underpin Britain's long-term plan to reach net zero emissions by 2050. Britain was the first major economy to create a legally binding target to bring greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050, and it was quick to build up its renewable energy capacity in earlier years. Let's take a look.
The Prime Minister is taking an approach of pragmatism and proportionality when it comes to delivering our net zero commitments. It's right that he assesses the issue as a whole, taking into account people's bank balances, livelihoods, the way that they are living their lives and the cost of living challenges that many families around the country are facing. And ultimately, we're not going to save the country by bankrupting the British people. We remain committed to delivering net zero by 2050. That's my personal view. I agree with the government position on this. What I also agree with is that we need to adopt an approach of pragmatism and balance, and we need to ensure that we achieve that goal, but in a sustainable way, in a way that doesn't impose undue and disproportionate cost on families and householders, on workers, and that we don't inhibit the daily way of lives that many of us are used to. For example, the way we get to work, the way we heat our homes, the way we run our lives. We are all committed to making our country greener and cleaner and more sustainable. We all share that noble view, myself included, but we need to adopt an approach of pragmatism and proportion.
Now, more than 1,200 children have died of suspected measles and malnutrition in Sudan refugee camps, while many thousands more, including newborns, are at risk of death before year-end. United Nations agencies said more than 5 months into a conflict between Sudan's army and paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces, the country's healthcare sector is on its knees due to direct attacks from the warring parties, as well as shortage of staff and medicines, they said. Dr. Alan Maina, Chief of Public Health at the UN Refugee Agency, told a UN briefing in Geneva that since May, more than 1,200 children from Ethiopia and South Sudan under the age of 5 had died in 9 camps in White Nile State, home to one of Sudan's larger refugee populations. We'll be right back with your weather predictions shortly. Katima Mulilo can expect a minimum temperature of 20 degrees with a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius. Oshakati can also expect a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius with a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 11 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 17 degrees Celsius. Warrior Both can also expect sunny weather with a minimum of 13 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. We'll be getting into your sports news shortly.
Good evening and welcome to today's edition of Sunset News, brought to you by SportRep. I'm your host, Limba Mopetami. The biggest and most lucrative squash tournament, the BDO Namibian Open, gets underway at the Wanderers Squash Courts today. Namibian international Elmo Kambendu scored a brace for Chippa United as they beat Richards Bay last night in the DStv Premiership. Moving on, the brave Gladiators of Namibia will face Gambia tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifier match. The match will take place in Morocco. Derby County, a third-tier English Premier League club, has completed the signing of Namibian international footballer Brian Yambe. The versatile defender joins Derby as a free agent after leaving Wigan Athletic last season. That ends today's Sunset News, but do catch us again tomorrow, same place, same time.
That was Limba Mupetame with the sports. Let's get into the highlights from today's broadcast. Landless People's Movement leader Bernardus Swartboy has condemned President Hage Geingob over comments he made recently that apartheid was a far bigger tragedy than the 1904-1908 Nama Ovaherero genocide, describing the president's comments as an insult. Teachers at Onamatango Primary School in Sande District of Msati region currently live in corrugated iron shacks which they have built themselves, making their homes prone to bad weather conditions. Derby County, a third-tier English Premier League club, has completed the signing of Namibian international footballer Ryan Nyambe. The versatile defender joins Derby as a free agent after leaving Wigan. And with that, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the Animate platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. From me, Glenora Shipura, until next time.